proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Crunching Gears. Let's talk rallying, episode 3. In this episode, I'm delighted to be once again joined by Conor Edwards and Adam Hall. Lads, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Kevin. You've got the podcast bug with the start of the rally season, so yeah, the pressure's on. You to keep on doing it.
That's for sure.
Thanks, Kevin. Nice to be back again.
Yeah. This weekend, the one past there, I suppose, was quiet in terms of rallying at home, with the Safari Rally still going on and our lads out there doing reasonably well. But more of that another time. In this episode, we catch up with, I should say, is Martin Brady, and he'll tell us all about the American Rally Association Championship, which starts this weekend. We also catch up with Paddy O'Brien, who's taking part in the Killarney Forestry, and then Darren Curran competing in the Northern Ireland Tarmac Championship this weekend as well, co-driving for Aaron McLaughlin in the Fiesta WRC. So it's the season really kicks off, I suppose, now this weekend. So, we had to look at the American Championship. There's so much interest there from an Irish point of view, and no better man to catch up with than Martin Brady. So let's hear Martin's thoughts on how it's going to go this weekend and for the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the US has been somewhere that I've competed since, I think it was my first event there in 2005, and then joined Seamus Burke in 2010, and I've been there every year since. And always, there's such a backbone of Irish competitors. I think if the Irish were missing from any entry list, it would be a much thinner entry list on any rally in the US. So, and there's great camaraderie and a great community amongst the Irish. And we've had, there's been Irish champions in the championship. Barry McKenna, Leon Jordan, overall championships 2 seasons ago. Seamus Burke and I have won the two-wheel drive 3 years in a row now. And John Coyne won the R5, not last season, the previous season. And then Enda McCormick won it in last season. So yeah, there's just every corner of the service park, every corner of the entry list, there's plenty of Irish interest. But yes, as you say, big names have come into the championship. Pastrana, Block, huge household names in the US, and you know the difference in the amount of spectators and people at a rally when Block or Pastrana are there. They bring the fans. But we've had other people like there's been David Higgins, of course, dominated the championship for so many years. Patrick Sandell, Brandon Semenuk, who's another household name as a Red Bull athlete and a mountain biker and stuff. So there's different characters that come into the sport over there that are household names and bring the attention to it, more so than just we know them as rally drivers, but they come from all sorts of action sports and all sorts of different things, and it's it's good. There's more and more attention starting to come on the championship now, I think, as more Europeans come and compete. Like last year we had people like Tom Williams that came over and done some rallies. Callum Devine and Josh McErlane were in at the Washington round. Both did very well. Josh in particular, he had a fastest time on one of the most difficult stages, Wildcat, Wildcat is a stage in Olympus that the name just resonates with everyone. It's a bit like saying, I don't know, Stephen Ora or Nakala or something like that. It's just, once you hear the name, you know what it is. I think from memory, it's like 23 or 25 miles long, a lot longer than we're used to. And it's a torturous stage. And he beat the Subarus on it, but it was a stage that suited, I think, a tight, twisty, suited a driver that was in an R5 that was nimble, but you had to be brave with it, and he was, and that was a good result for him last year. But also outside of just the drivers, Irish co-drivers have been all through the US sport, and that's what it was. The Irish co-driver network that got me out there first, and a few other guys have followed us since, and we all there's a good camaraderie of guys there that help each other and back each other, and for that reason the Irish have a good name in the series and in the championship, not just behind the steering wheel, but with the notes and the time cards as well.
Yeah, and helping the organisation as well too. Like, it must be said as well that there's an Irish cohort running through that as well.
There is, yeah, and in October 2020, I had I would say the honour and the experience of being involved with Rally New York, which was born of an idea from Barry McKenna. Just one day, a round had fallen off the championship. The rally wasn't going to happen, and Barry, in his own inimitable way, just turned around and said, "Well, okay, we'll run a rally that weekend instead." And we ran a rally in New York, and it was a great success. Really enjoyed it. Nice to be on the other side of the fence. And it was good, but the amount of Irish people that rode in to help that, and people that have experience in running rallies over there, it was great. We got great help, and I unashamedly say it was a great success. And who knows, maybe someday in the future it'll come back again. Yeah. But that was a good one. Yeah,
and it's fair to say, like, because of COVID and all at that time, a lot of your organisation took place in Ireland for rally happening in America.
It did, yeah, because of the way things were back then with travel and so on. I was back in Ireland and I was isolating for the 14 days. And it was all taking place by emails and phone calls. I was isolating in Galway, but was on the phone and on emails and stuff. And I had great help from, as I say, the Irish contingent. Barry put his full weight of everything behind the rally and opened so many doors for it to happen. But from the administration side of it, there was Sean Hassett here in Ireland, was a great help to me, and also then Leon back in New York, Leon Jordan, Barry's co-driver, and between us all, we muddled together, and it happened, and it was good. So it was unusual to organise a rally. Before I finished one of the rallies over there before I came home from my isolation, and just quick trip with Barry and Leon. We drove around the stages, made a road book, stuff like that, picked the service area, that sort of thing. I took copious amounts of notes, and then came home and did Google Maps and Google Earth and all sorts of things. And sort of up until it was boots on the ground back over there, it was running a virtual rally. So it was it was different. And I mean, that's one thing that the pandemic and the way the world has changed. With things now, like, time cards are different. You don't submit your time card, and so different ideas came out of it and stuff like that. And you have so much more things like putting in your queries online, and some things have improved because of it. Hopefully we're out the other side of it now, and we'll keep those things as positives, and it'll the frustrating side of it will just be a memory soon.
Yeah, so we're looking forward into the 2022 season now. 9 rounds, and we sitting here in Donegal, I can't take on the vastness of the, it's from one side of America to the other. Like, it could be like a 2-day trip, maybe more, to get from base to the next round as such.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the first time I rallied over there, I landed in New York and drove to Pennsylvania. With the guy I was doing the rally with, Tom Lawless, and it seemed like then, now New York to Pennsylvania it's nothing. It's relatively speaking, it's a quick trip. But I remember then saying, I'll never complain about going to Skibbereen again. But yeah, we get to see so much of the country and so much of the championship. Like, if you take it, we start off in Atlanta, Michigan. Michigan's got an upper and a lower peninsula, so we start in the lower part of Michigan. Then we go to Missouri, and we go over to Washington to Olympus. So then you're going all the way over to the West Coast. Then we come up the map a little bit to Oregon, which is also West Coast. Then we go to Ohio, which is a relatively new event, although it has a great history because it was resurrected from an event years and years ago. It does have a history. That's pretty much the middle of the country. Great stages, very different. The weather even is it can be very humid when we rally there. A lot of people struggle with the heat there at night, because, more the humidity than the heat. I found it okay, but then I went to Colorado for another rally, and because of the altitude, I was wondering about the people that struggle with the humidity in Ohio, and I think it's not comfortable, but it's not that bad.
Yes.
And then I went to Colorado, and I learned a different lesson there, which is the altitude and the dry heat. Yes. Then we go to Maine for a rally that's so close to the Irish contingent on the East Coast. That's almost like a home event. It's the New England Forest Rally, the event I've done the most in the US, so it almost feels like a local event. but that's part of the fact that you've so many Irish at it. An event that Niall McShay has won in the past, so there's been Irish winners on that event for many years. Seamus Burke and I won it in 2016, so it holds a special place for me for that reason. And then when we were done with that, we go to Minnesota, which is a favorite event of mine. I really, really like Minnesota. It's an unusual part of the country in that it's very rural, the area that we compete in. But great, fantastic stages, like really good surface, good tight, twisty stuff, and it's agricultural country. So I enjoy seeing that side of things. Yeah, I enjoyed it. You see something different there. Agriculture on a different scale, and the people there are really nice. I've never had a bad rally in Minnesota. Always liked it. So enjoy going back to it. Then we go to Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, which is the STPR rally, the one I spoke about. That's again closer to the East Coast. You have more Irish in that one, and then we finish up with LSPR back to Michigan. So we started the championship in Michigan, finish it in Michigan, but we're up in the Upper Peninsula, quite a remote area up there. Marquette, you're up amongst the Great Lakes and just underneath Canada. So that's a wintry event. You don't have snow, or you shouldn't have snow, but you definitely have cold weather and harsh conditions for that one usually. So yeah, that's where we'll finish the season at this year. So it's you definitely zigzag all over the continent, all over North America, and see plenty. It's good. And then there's another championship as well, and there's a NASA championship there, which is a more regional championship, and it does other events like places like Bristol, Tennessee, and that, which is actually coming up. So in area you have the overall championship, and then you have a regional championship to give more, well, we say local, but it's not that local we're used to. But you have guys that can compete in like a regional championship. You can just do the West events or the East events or the Central events, and you still get a championship title. So it tries to cater for all. They'd be events that you wouldn't have the blocks and the Pastranas at, but you still have plenty of entries and a good battle at them. They're good rallies. Yeah,
and the Snowdrift rally this weekend. Is it a rally that tends to live up to its name? Well, is there a good possibility?
Yeah, it's a rally like nothing else in the world, because it's a snow rally, but it's a snow rally on studs, or sorry, not on studs, I should say. Right. I spoke. So we do it on essentially what are road tires. So no studs, just in you go. Okay. Your choices are really you can take a snow tire, which is a bit like a gravel, or looks to me like a gravel tire, but more open. Okay. And that works okay in the snow. And then you can have an ice tire, which it doesn't work in the snow because it gets clogged up. Okay. But equally, your snow tire doesn't work on the ice because you don't have grip. And how you can modify, well, you can't have studs. You can modify the snow tires to do a thing called tractionizing, which the simplest way to explain that is they run it on like this akin to a rolling road. These steel rollers with little spikes, and they puncture the top of the block of the tire to leave it almost like a paintbrush. So when the tire makes contact, it fans out a little bit, just the tiniest bit at the top of the block. And that will work on the ice. It'll give you braking, but it's a rally where you need to have such patience, because you can have a certain amount of grip, going forward, and a certain amount of grip braking, but then you've no lateral grip and you're slipping and sliding. And not that I should give it away, but the secret to snowdrift is when you're, you just have to have patience in the corners and patience with your notes, because when you think you're slipping and sliding and losing time, you are. But it's the same for everybody else. So you just have to think, you just have to minimize the amount of time you lose. And if you look at videos of it, you'll see people that really could clinch that. People like Antoine Estage and David Higgins, they're just so neat and straight, almost like they're driving
not getting frustrated.
Tarmac.
Yeah, I'm not getting frustrated.
Yeah, just don't wheel spin, don't slip and slide, nothing big blurred, just quiet hands, tiptoe into the corner, out of the corner, and away you go again. But it's for co-driving, it's a little bit different, because in places everything's just white, so you have to pick your markers and think differently. And also because the speed you're doing, you're in the fast bits, you're doing big speed. Yes. But you need to be further ahead on the notes, because the next thing, the slow thing that's coming is it's coming pretty quick. And if you're not, you don't have the same time to get stopped for something. So you have to factor that in. But it's I enjoy it, because where else are you going to do it? We don't have snow rallies here. You go to do a snow rally anywhere else, you're going to be on studs, so that'll be different. You'll have different grip. But it's a challenge, it's an enjoyable challenge, and I'm I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we should look at the Irish contingent this weekend, like Barry McKenna and Leon Jordan out in the Fiesta. Like it has to be regarded as probably one of the favourites for the event.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't look past Barry and Leon for the win in the event. Barry's a former winner of the event in an R5 car. Last year, he struggled a bit with tyre choice, which is one of those things, as I say, choosing between your snow tyre and your ice tyre. Bit him a little bit, and it hampered his results last year. So he won't want to have complications like that this year. He'll want to come out swinging. He's in the World Rally Car this year. It's a World Rally Car, but not as we know it. In that it's a model. It was a brand new 2021 Fiesta, full aero package, everything like you just would have seen. The works guys in Soonen and Greensmith last year, but it has a 2-litre engine.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a paddle shift because that's not allowed in the ARA rules. Right. So it's back more like sequential like an R5, but it's quite the car. It's really an interesting machine, and it for sure it has the capability to win the event without a doubt. And Barry and Leon have the capability to win the event.
Absolutely,
but you need that bit of luck and you need to get to the finish. Yeah. So there's Barry and there's other Irish guys. We have Eamon Fallon.
Eamon Fallon,
Eamon Fallon with Stephen Joyce co-driving. Eamon Leitrim man lives in New York. Stephen Galway man lives in Crotwell. There's myself, going to be third on the road with Kyle. Johnny Sullivan.
Sorry, can we just chat about yourself there? And Kyle, that's a very interesting entry there. Like this is a race driver going rallying, and he seems to have taken to it. Seems to love rallying.
Yeah, so Kyle is a racing driver of quite note. He's done a lot of Porsche Super Cup and different things in the US, but he competed in single-seater stuff here in Europe before he moved to the US. And then his most success that I know of or that I can speak of in the US is in the American Le Mans series, where he races in an LMP2, which is the second tier down. So I guess the top tier called DPI, so they're a bit like the World Rally Car. The gap to the LMP2 car wouldn't be as much as the gap between a WRC and an R5. They're just a little bit behind the top class. But his team, Era Motorsport, they're the guys in that class. They won Daytona last year. Didn't manage to defend the victory this year. Had a bit of bad luck and mechanicals and stuff, But so he's doing the racing championship of that IMSA. Sports cars this year in the US, so that's the main backbone of his racing this season. Unfortunately, means he missed the second round, 100 Acre Wood. But we're doing the full ARA Championship. We're also doing the British Historic Championship in historic Mark II Escort. Did the first round of that last week. His first time in a Mark II, and went really well from the fun factor. We enjoyed it for sure. We're going to do some other stuff in R5 cars, Rally 2 cars here and there. Depending on time.
He done recently, wasn't it, the Arctic Rally?
He did, He tried a Hyundai out for that one. Unfortunately, it didn't go as he had hoped. The pace was good, but they came to a corner where he said himself he learned that it's all fine when you're testing leaning on the snowbanks, but when you're running 34th, 35th on the road and you come to lean on a snowbank that 30 odd other fins leaned on, you suddenly find that it sucks in. He couldn't lean on it, and that's what happened. He leaned on a snowbank, got stuck in, and that was it. Game over. It doesn't take you very long stuck in a snowbank before your OTL and your rally's over. So but he enjoyed the Hyundai. It was good, but this year we're very much in a Ford for the championship. That's the plan. We'll start the season in an R5 or Fiesta. Rally 2, and actually a car that I've done snowdrift in before. That particular car, but then later in the season there should be some new shiny metal coming. All things being well. That's the plan. He is a good. He's done some NASCAR in as well in a Ford car, so he quite the link to Ford. So definitely Ford is the plan for this year.
We'll speak about that later in the season. Then all been well. And so then,
hope so. Hope so.
And then Wal Graham, son of Ernie Graham, whose name will be familiar with a lot of people on this side of the Atlantic. Like Wal himself has done quite a bit of rallying here too, but he's studying in America. Is that right?
Yeah, Will is doing. I think he's doing a master's or something in New York. He's very much buried in studies over there, and does some rallying when he's not in college. I think he's from speaking to Will. I think he's on a 2-year program or something over there. So he bought a car to do something while he was over there. He bought an open class Mitsubishi Evo 10, which is a bit like say a class 20 we would have here.
Yes.
So it's a Group A-ish sort of thing. And that's what he's in. But yeah, a guy that's very quick in historic machinery and has quite the nice stable of historic machinery as well, M3s and Escorts and all that sort of stuff. But he had some mechanical problems last year that kept him from good results, particularly in Ohio, then also in New England. But he's quick. He just needs to string it all together with a bit of luck, and he'll definitely, he's a guy worth watching in his class. He won't be that far away. He's taken to the whole scene over there, and he's going to do quite well this season, I'm sure.
And a very interesting name on the entry list is Ricardo Cordero Jr., a multiple Mexican champion.
Yeah, I mean, what I know of him
for snow
is only what I've seen on EWRC, that brilliant site that suits rally nerds like I think like ourselves, certainly like me anyway. That's the place that you go to now for all your information. And from what I can see, quite the driver in Mexico. He has quite a string of results behind him in a lot of varied machinery. Most recently, Citroen Rally 2, DS3. He's a long history of stuff there. I'm not sure what car he's taken to Snowdrift. He only appeared on the entry list a couple of days ago, just before they closed. So he could spring a surprise. He's honestly an unknown quantity. We'll have to see where he slots into it. But
a Mexican on snow now could be a bit, but
it could be. But
you have to tip your hat to him for taking the chance, don't you? So.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a lot of experience. He could surprise us all. It'll be interesting to see. It shows that the championship is gaining attention further afield, and people want to come and do it. There was some South Americans that came and did the last round in one of these Orica, I'm struggling to think of the name of them, like the Hippie 3 cars. You know those ones? They're built by Orica.
They're going to be they're kind of almost a kit car kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah. There's some breed of a kit
Rally 5, wasn't it, or something?
Something like that. Yeah, they're supposed to be on a par with a Rally 2 / R5 car on pace, almost for less of the cost. But there's something that's quite prevalent in South America, because as I understand it, you can kind of make them look like any car. They're sort of like a proto car, in that it can be a Mitsubishi or it can be a Volkswagen or a Peugeot or whatever. So one of those
about them in Spain and France, but it never really seemed to take off.
I haven't noticed it if they have. I think they have them in down in New Zealand, Australia, or maybe Asia Pacific Championship, something like that.
Yeah.
But the cool looking car for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then another very interesting name, like probably known not for rallying, but Vivian Campbell, like guitarist he's from Northern Ireland originally, but a guitarist with Def Leppard, as taken to the rally stages.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I spoke to the guy briefly last year, simply because I knew there was an Irish flag on the car, and just said hello to him. Had absolutely no idea who he was or anything about him. I know of Def Leppard, but can't say I would listen to them regularly, if at all. And it was just a very nice guy. Seemed like just another guy. I think it was his first rally, I think, in Maine last year. Very pleasant guy, and came home from the rally to discover that there was all this media attention to this famous rock star that had done Maine. And I think, oh, man, really? Okay. So he's I think at the time he said, or the story was that he was just going to do 1 or 2. He hadn't time to do much touring, etc. But I think, like, it bit us all at some point. The bug for rallying seems to have bitten him, because he keeps appearing on entry lists, and so I assume we'll see him for a few more rallies anyway. Yeah,
and like again, flying the Donegal flag. He said it was whenever he was a child. His parents obviously took him to Donegal. I think it was to see the Circuit Ireland stages and thing, and that's what caught his attention. And like. And Def Leppard, in the 80s and 90s were huge in America. Like they were big in, Ireland and the UK or whatever, but they were massive like that. Like they were selling out stadiums right across America, for 20 plus years.
Yeah, that's the way it is. It doesn't matter if you're a future rock star or burgeoning rock star, or a farmer's son from County Meath. Donegal is in the middle of so many people's stories of how they fell in love with the sport, and that guy's no different to the rest of us.
Absolutely. And then you mentioned earlier on there, Seamus Burke. Unfortunately, Seamus is not going to be in excuse me, the snowdrift this weekend. But that leaves
no,
he's
not.
No.
Yeah, in the Burke household, they've two cars. They've an Evo, and they have the Escort that everybody knows, the Mustang powered Escort.
Yeah.
There was talks of going to snowdrift in that, but I think he didn't really fancy the idea of slipping and sliding on snowdrift in the Escort. Yeah. But it was to wait and see. And that car needs a bit of work. It's quite. I wouldn't say it's a temperamental beast. It's been very reliable for any rallies we've done on it. But it was just it needed a bit of work. We put it through a lot of hard seasons, so it's a way of getting some TLC in Georgia at the moment in the workshop, and the plan is for it to reappear in 100 Acre Wood, and because there's the bone of my season will be the championship with Kyle, but I'm available to go to 100 Acre Wood with James, and of course if I couldn't go with Kyle, absolutely want to go with Seamus and be back in the Escort for another one, and that's the plan. I'll do any that I can this season with Seamus. I'm actually doing the Sand Blast Rally, which is part of that NASA championship that I mentioned, and the alternative championship in the US. That's in South Carolina in a couple of weeks, so we'll do that in the Evo, I think is the plan. And 100 Acre Wood in the Escort, we've always had good pace in 100 Acre Wood. The stages are quite familiar to us at this stage. Good fast flowing stages, so I'll be looking forward to that. Whether Seamus does the championship or not, hard to know. I guess he'll see. Depends on, he's very busy in work this season. So for two-wheel drive, you would be hard to pass by the Lexus of Mike Cooper. Very unusual car, not what we would think of as a rear-wheel drive car. It's got a Lexus IS 350. I've tried to explain to him different times he should come over and do like King of the Cone, something like that. He'd be quite the hero in some of those events. But yeah, to see a Lexus rally, and for us that are used to Escorts and Corollas and so on being the rear-wheel drive car, this thing seems big and unwieldy and lumpy, but it's not. He can steer it at some pace. How we'll manage with the snow, I don't know, but knowing Mike, he'll be quick, and he'll be the man. He's always ran us close in two-wheel drive battles before. It's always been very nip and tuck with him for the championship, and he's run us. He's put us under pressure many times. The other car that in two-wheel drive is actually a front-wheel drive car, a Mitsubishi Mirage type vehicle, and that guy he's going to be quick. It's a car built in the Brad Morris, the driver, built by the same company that built Seamus's car. So it's almost like we're rear-wheel drive, heavily modified. Seamus's car, the Escort that we're in, the Mustang engined Escort, wouldn't really fit the rule set here in Ireland because it's the shed on is so modified. It's the actual footprint of it is pretty much what, if you remember the R4 Mitsubishi, like an Evo 10, it's sort of that dimension, and it's taken a lot of technology and bits out of the rallycross cars from Sweden, those the Alsberg cars. So the back of the car is that sort of setup and that sort of thing. So this guy then has the Mitsubishi with the it's just what's the back of the Escort, I believe, is now the front of of his car.
Kind of the one car split in half, and he's got one half and he's got the other kind of thing. Almost.
It's just from adapted for a front wheel drive vehicle. I don't know. It gets way outside of my technology. I can just about check tire pressure. That's as much as I know. If you anything notes and time cards, that's it. But,
that's right. And the rally nerd in it as well. Love to see a Group A Escort Cosworth on the entry list there as well. Like that's something to see.
That's my favorite car of the whole rally. I think it's this pristine Group A Escort Cosworth that a guy, Mike Turpak, I think is how you pronounce his name, unearthed it somewhere. It was, as I understand it, was a barn find. It's a car that has a Ford Motorsport history. It was a Group N car. So it was works built at some point, is my understanding, and he It was, I think, rallied by an Irish guy in New York way back when in the 90s, I think. So Mike got his hands on it, and for the longest time I was following him on Instagram as he rebuilt this beautiful car, and he put it back to proper Group A period spec, and it's just for a rally nerd and of any car, for me the Ford Escort Cosworth, the Group A car, is just it's my ultimate car. I've been lucky to sit in a few. I wish I could sit in more, maybe will this year with a bit of luck. They're just, for me, they're just the thing that get me excited. And the detail he went in rebuilding this car. One of his posts on Instagram is him setting up a laser level, just so that he could put the Escort Cosworth badges on the boot lid. And he'd worked out all these calculations of how high he had the suspension, where he was going to put it exactly. And you're looking at that level of detail, thinking that, gosh, this man has done that just to put the badges on the boot lid.
Yes.
Obviously, everything else in the car is
like,
perfect.
Yes.
And you think, gosh, it's almost a shame that he's rallying this car. But he did snowdrift in it last year as his first event, and I remember I slipped away during shakedown to go and have a look at it, because I had to see this thing in the flesh after, salivating over it on Instagram for so long. And he's back this season in it, so that'll be something I'll be looking forward to, walking back down the queue and having a quick look and checking in, because it just stands out as such a unique thing over there in the US. And then one other thing just to mention, when you get that down the entry list a little bit further underneath that, there's an entry that I think it's number 44 on the list, but it's TBA.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of speculation as to who that will be, because for the moment there's no Subarus on the Works cars on the entry list. Pastrana missing, may appear. He broke his pelvis in some sort of a base jumping, parachuting, overshoot accident. As Travis sometimes does. He's come to rallies before with broken bones or recently broken bones. So he may yet appear. If anyone can heal quickly enough and in time, it'll be Travis, and he'll be there. Because he's an action man in every sense of the word, and it would be good for the pace, I suppose, if he was there at the championship. But I don't know. That remains to be seen. I guess we'll know further. But I'm thinking that entry list, that spot is kept for him. But we're told it'll be somebody excited.
It's always great to catch up with Martin Brady. He has a wealth of knowledge and all things American. This weekend, as we said earlier, we also start the Irish Forestry Championship in Killarney. It looks as if it's going to be a fascinating event. Adam, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Killarney's added another string to their bow with the Forest Rally joining the Rally of the Lakes and the historic rally, and it's kicking off the sort of rejuvenated Forestry Rally Championship here in Ireland. It's the first round, and it's looking like a healthy start. I believe there were 90 entries for it, so yeah, plenty of competition in different categories. Up front, you have Catherine McCourt and Desi Henry, previous Forestry champions. Just behind, Paddy O'Brien and Jordan Hone, who are two younger guys, and it's really good to see that they're getting a chance for a full season championship assault in R5 cars, and I think both of those guys will be right on the pace, and again bringing their professionalism from the championships and the involvement they've had in Motorsport Ireland academies. So definitely it's going to be an interesting race at the front between those four guys, and even behind you have different ones in the top 10 like Gareth Sayers and Marty Kearns, who are all capable of winning Forest rallies. So
that, there's a top 10, 12 cars there, and like I'm sure each and every one of them's going there thinking, if not in the fight for the one, they're definitely looking for a podium place, aren't they? So.
Yeah, 100%. And again, we keep talking about these entries, and when's the rally that's going to disappoint us? It hasn't appeared yet, and it's brilliant to see the interest in Forest rallying again. So no, it should be a good one.
Should be fairly fast event. I think it's over 6 stages, isn't it?
Yeah, six stages. Seems quite compact, but from what guys are saying, there's quite a lot in them, and fast stages as well. I think the middle stage is maybe the big one, the important one, on Sunday. So no, it'll be an interesting watch. You have two-wheel drive as well. There's going to be a good battle in there with list of guys, all the madmen in the woods. Frank Kelly, Shane McGarr, David Condell, Mickey Honlon, Adrian Hetherington. Like the list, that's crazy. I don't know if these guys have a WhatsApp group and message each other to organise the next carry on, but it seems like this one Killarney is going to be the first of the season anyway.
I'm sure a lot of them guys is maybe even using it as a warm up for 5 Mile Town. We know what that means to the guys up around Tyrone and that. Like that rally is nearly almost second to the bushwhacker for some of them guys, isn't it? You know, so.
That's right. Actually, it's pure fever now for those boys. Gravel fever. No, it's class.
Yeah. And Conor, what's your thoughts ahead of the Forestry Championship?
No, what do you call it? It's great to, like, we're at this stage now where everything's kicking off, and it's fantastic just to be there. Like I said previously on the other podcast, it's just exciting to be back out watching rallying again. What do you call it? Looking forward to the start of this. As I said, that was a fantastic lineup in the two-wheel drive category, and there's going to be some fights between Gordon and Condell and Conlon, and got to show throwing Frank Kelly into the mix there as well. And very interesting up at the front. And, Cahan McCourt, as we've seen, he's been setting some very quick times over the last few rallies that he's been out, and certainly confidence is growing. So I'm itching to see how it ends up on Sunday evening. And Adam, isn't the junior category also kicking off on the Forestry as well?
Yeah, Motorsport Ireland have got their dual surface championship back again this year, so it's using a mix of forestry and national rally championship events, and it sort of all ties into the Billy Coleman Award and Motorsport Ireland Academy program. So I believe there's 45,000 euros up for grabs and different prizes, and obviously those guys and girls will be looking for Billy Coleman Award nominations. But you've got Rally 4, Junior 1600 and Junior 1000. And to be honest, I'm really excited to follow that. I feel like we're at a stage now in junior rallying where there's level playing fields for everyone, and there should be a clear sign of who the quick people are by the end of the year, and who the young people to watch for the future are going to be. Even the Junior 1000, it's for 15 to 18-year-olds. So people there who don't even have a provisional driving license yet, which is pretty crazy for rallying over here.
And we're always very quick to say what's wrong with rallying here in this country, but this initiative really should be applauded. Like, this is like the what's the word, stepladder.
Yeah.
This is, you can come in at a 15-year-old competing on events and running in really good conditions. You run at the head of the field and everything. It really has to be applauded, the guys behind this initiative.
Yeah, it's a perfect idea. I think you can't fault it, and just I guess to have the initiative to go for it and put this in place, it's really good. And yeah, I hope the guys get credit for putting it together, and I hope people show the interest in it, and hopefully they know what's out there, and they start seeing these young people who are putting in quick stage times. We've been used to doing that in the past 10 years with different drivers, and they're now shining in world championship level. So again, this is just a step below that.
I know, like, this is a bit of but like Elfyn Evans started in Junior 1000 back in Wales back in the day. So it shows that this is a stepping stone to the very top level.
Yeah, it's exactly what we need. And the guy at the top of the Junior 1000 entry is Jack Brennan, who was doing the cross court stuff last year for Motorsport Ireland. So again, it's just a brilliant sign of what people are working on behind the scenes.
So yeah, it's a very interesting time ahead.
Yeah. So I actually was talking to Paddy O'Brien earlier this week, and he was able to tell us about his plans for 2022 and how he was able to I guess decide to do the Forestry Championship this year.
Yeah, as you say, a big weekend ahead. So start in Killarney and hopefully start off on the right foot and continue from there. We hoping to do the Forestry Championship and some selected BRC rounds as well, hopefully. So if that works out, it'd be nice.
Very good man. And Killarney's obviously the first round of the championship. What are your aims for that one?
Yeah, it's the first round, so we'll be aiming high as always. Well, we're trying to fight for a win, but obviously the competition's quite high down there with the 2 Forestry champions, Gahan and Desi, and also Jordan Home there as well. You can't write him off as well. So no, it's going to be serious competition.
Yeah, is it good to be jumping straight into that? I know the Forestry Championship's always had a nice mix of World Rally cars and R5s and Evos and stuff, but I think this year there's a lot of strong guys there. Is it nice just to jump into that and you'll have a battle in your hands from the first round?
Yeah, for sure. To be racing all the guys in the R5 cars, that's where you want to be. It's where your pace increases. So yeah, hopefully now we're thereabouts.
And the rally itself, what are you expecting from the stages down there?
I was just actually watching the DVD the other night. It's serious fast now. It's a very, very fast rally, but I enjoy that type of thing. It's a bit like our home rally, the Bushwhacker. It's very fast, so I enjoy them type of stages. So we'll see.
Yes, Bushwhacker's anything to go by. That's a good sign for you.
Yeah.
You're part of the latest Motorsport Ireland Rally Academy this year as well, Paddy. I know you have had one meetup so far. What has the initial impressions been like of that program?
Yeah, we got onto that. It's a massive opportunity for myself to get onto that. So no, as you say, we had one meeting already down in Sports Ireland, the complex. So it was nice to get down there and see what it was like. It was just sort of a meeting to get to know each other and what we'll be doing. And to be honest, it was very, very impressive. Straight out of the blocks, it was impressive to see what they were saying, and just some of the small details of the small percentages that you don't think of when you're on your own sort of rallying. It's definitely very impressive.
Yep. Is it nice to be a part of that on a local scene, I guess? And I know the guys like Josh have went from local events to BRC, and obviously he's in WRC too now. Is that, I guess it doesn't get much better than that in terms of seeing what the program can do for guys.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously working when you see Josh and William.
Yeah,
it's a clear path to where they're going. So hopefully we can follow that, and we do our bit here. Hopefully we can do enough to progress more.
Yeah, good man. You mentioned Bushwhacker earlier. He obviously won that event last year, and it's the first event back after the break with coronavirus. How important was that win in terms of getting a full campaign together this year and also being included in the Motorsport Ireland Academy?
Yeah, the Bushwhacker was quite a win for me. To be honest, before it, we weren't even thinking about doing the rally. I was in America with my girlfriend for a couple of months, and we just decided we'll come and try it. So we were coming home that date anyway. So I got a car sorted for it, and thankfully it all clicked and we won. So from then on, it's just been full rally mode again. It's mad to get rallying again. So it's definitely helped with sponsors, and obviously now the academy as well. It just sort of steamrolled in from that that event.
Good man, and obviously that gives you the confidence that you have the pace to race guys like Catherine, who's obviously a forestry championship. So that must be nice to go into this year with.
Yeah, for sure. It felt even at the bushwhacker there was loads left, but we're still learning and just making silly wee mistakes that we think we can improve the next time we're back out. So no, it was definitely encouraging. If I felt that I was completely flat out, I probably wouldn't be so happy. So at least there's more to learn as well.
That was very interesting there from Paddy O'Brien. Like, a very underrated talent, and it's great to see him, finally getting this opportunity. Wishing him and all the competitors in the Killarney Forest this weekend the very best of luck. So, also starting Kirkston on Saturday, the first round of the Northern Ireland Tarmac Championship. It's a bit confusing. There's a Tarmac and there's a Forestry Championship run in Northern Ireland this year. So, Conor, do you want to give your thoughts on that?
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, Kirkeston this Saturday. It's 6 stages taking place over the Kirkeston race circuit in County Down. First out of the blocks will be previous winner Stephen Wright and the Fiesta R5. So Stephen won the last time Kirkeston took place, which was 2019, I think.
2020, yeah.
2020, yeah. Just getting confused with all the COVID and all the restrictions. Stephen would have been the previous winner. We have Johnny Greer out in Sitchin C3 Rally 2, so the updated C3. And Darren Gass is number 3 on the door with James Carville. And Darren's also out in Sitchin C3 as well. So it'd be very interesting to see Darren. I think last time Darren was out was 2019. He did something like 3 or 4 rallies.
In the Skoda, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the Skoda R5. And then we also have Derek McGrady in, as you mentioned, the Skoda. Derek's taken part in the Fabia. Derek is 8 times Northern Ireland champion now.
Maybe 9 times.
Yeah, so always one to watch on events like this. And last time the event was run, McGardy actually finished 3rd. He was fighting for 2nd. There was a mix-up with the arrows. He added 100 yards or something onto his stage and ended up coming in behind Derek McGeehan. But, he wasn't far and never is far away from a podium. And then also we have Aaron McLaughlin and Darren Curran who are out in the Fiesta WRC. Kenny McKinstry behind them. And another one to watch will be Philip Allen, who's in an R5 as well. So certainly should be an interesting event. And then throw the weather into that.
Yeah, I think there's a storm forecast for this weekend too. Kirkston, and even on a good day, sometimes at Kirkston, whatever it is about it, it's either bright sunshine or torrential rain. I suppose is only a nice way, but again, that entry list, you have 12, 15 World Rally 5, Rally 2 cars, R5 Rally 2 cars. Where's these cars keep coming out of? It's unbelievable, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I think there's just under 20 R5 and World Rally cars at Kirkeston on Saturday, which it is mental, isn't it? But yeah, you said it. Kirkeston is all the elements. There's no shelter out there, and I think the single venue rallies are underrated, and in the challenge there, Conor mentioned about McGardy's moment with the signs, and as well there always seems to be punctures that can decide the final spots. I know that
or get caught behind another competitor, because there's the loop system normally in them events as well too, isn't there?
So there's always something there, but again the coverage is usually very good with the Northern Irish Championship events, so it's definitely going to be one worth following if you're not going down there on Saturday.
Yeah, like that, the promotion behind that Northern Ireland Championship this last couple of seasons has really stepped up. Some fantastic footage, on stage, and after every stage there's an update online. It's great to see it.
Yeah, definitely. It's always very detailed as well. You never easily miss much. So
No, and it's not even
that'll be
just the top
interesting.
3 or 4. It's right down throughout the field. It's always wee tidbits of information, isn't there? So,
Yeah, I think that's important for the Northern Irish Championship too, because it's very much clubman rallies. You've got people right down the field in different cars. So no, that's good, and it's going to be an interesting one to kick off that championship.
And then Conor, these new C3s, like there's 3 of them there in the entry list. Like for a car that's relatively new, exciting times. It'll be interesting to see how they compare with the likes of the Fiestas and the Skodas.
Absolutely, very interesting. And again, in the hands of Johnny Greer, like Johnny, really knows that Citroen inside out. He's been very strong in it in the last 3-4 years, competing over the tarmac in Ireland. So it'll be very interesting to see how he goes, and I certainly think he'll be up there fighting for the win. And then also actually in the C3 we have Michael McGarty, son of Derek. Again, another one to have certainly keep an eye on and see how he performs on the day.
Yeah, I think Michael, his last few years, has definitely come on an awful lot. He started off in the junior cars and done a few, like the likes of the dog leak and things last year in a R5 Fiesta, and wasn't far off the pace. So, and then Philip Allen, like Philip's quick wherever he goes too. So,
yeah,
he can be doesn't always finish events, but the times is normally thereabouts. So.
The drama's usually there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly looking at the entry list, the fight just won't be for the first and second position. I think there's going to be fights the whole way through that, top 15. There should be some very interesting battles. And that, again, if we get a wet day, there'll be a lot of tiptoeing around that circuit just to make sure there's no disasters and no offs. Earlier today, I caught up with Darren Curran, who's sitting alongside Aaron McLaughlin in the Fiesta WRC, just to see how their preparation has gone for Kyrgyzstan.
Well, we had one run out before the Turkey run, the Tour of the Spares, but we only got 3 stages on that, where we retired with mechanical failure. But the Turkey run was our first proper run out we got in the car.
And how have you found adapting to the WRC? Is there much of an adjustment required from the R5?
There's a bit of a difference in them, all right. As Aaron said at the end of the first stage in the Spairns, it's called the WRC car for a reason. It's for World Rally drivers, but it's just a complete animal of a car. Like the power on them in straight lines and stuff like that is serious, and the handling now it's hard to explain until you're actually sitting on there to see what they can actually do.
Yeah. And from your own point of view, calling the notes, you find you're having to do it any differently or speed it up, or?
Well, things come at you quick in the R5 as it was anyways. So there's not much difference really in the WRC car. You just keep your head down most of the time. So you do, but
you had a close battle in the Turkey run with Desi Henry and John Rowan. How was the battle with Desi?
That was definitely good now, and even Derek McGardy there, until he had problems in stage 5 there was only 2.1 seconds between the 3 of us, I think. So the battle there all day was brilliant with the 2 boys. Then we done to the last stage, and I don't know what Desi Henry done, but he absolutely nailed us. We thought we had a good run, but I know he must have took a shortcut somewhere or something like that. Yeah. But no, it was definitely very good now.
Yeah, I know Desi can be mighty quick. So this weekend you're competing in Kyrgyzstan, the first round of the Northern Ireland Championship. Am I right in thinking this is the first time for both you and Aaron to compete in Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah, this will be the first time we've been in Kyrgyzstan. None of us has been up at it, or even I don't even know where it's at, to be quite honest with you. But no, this is the first time the 2 of us has been in it, so it'll definitely be something different for us.
And have you had a chance to do any preparation for Kyrgyzstan, or has anybody given you any hints or tips or what to expect?
No, I haven't really been speaking to anybody about it. Now, I watched a few in-cars from previous years and stuff like that, but that's all we really can do for it at the minute. We look at the stage maps here; they come out this evening. So, but again, it's not much good to us at the same time, because we've never been there before and we don't know what to expect really.
And there's some well-known names competing at Kirkeston this weekend as well, who are good at these, sprint events. There's Kenny McKinstry, Derek McGrady, and also making a return is Darren Gass in the Citroen C3. Who do you think you're going to be fighting with on Saturday?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. That's a difficult question. There is, I would say, 5-6 drivers up on there, and any one of them could win it. Like, it'd be nice to be up competing with Johnny Greer in the Saturn. He seems to be the man to beat at the minute. And even another one there is Darren Gass, who hasn't been out for a while, but I'm pretty damn sure he'll be at the top as well. He's out in the Saturn too, so it'll be good to see how he fares out along with Saturn.
Absolutely, and then again, possible mixed weather conditions as well, just to add to the whole excitement.
Oh, definitely. The sun could be shining at 9 o'clock and it'd be snowing at 11 o'clock. You just wouldn't know what way it's going to go. Like, you just had to wait till the morning, do you see?
And yourself and Aaron, are you registered for the Northern Ireland Championship? Are you going to plan, or do you plan to do so, or are you waiting to see how Kirkeston goes first?
No, we're definitely going to sign up for it. We had a good enough run on it last year. We had a good battle. We nearly went at the top 3, but we just didn't get that far. So we're going to go this year and see if we can maybe make it the top 3 this year.
Right, fair enough. Very good. And just then with yourself, Darren, any plans for any other rallies or championships this year? How's your year looking?
It's at the minute it's pretty busy. Again, I'll be doing the Northern Ireland Championship with Aaron, along with possibly the Isle of Man and Donegal. We then have the Irish Forestry Championship and the Dual Surface Championship. Possibly the BRC, then them 3 along with Kyle McBride in the R2 Fiesta, and then we have selected rounds of the Irish Tarmac Championship along with Chris Armstrong and the Escort as well. So it's pretty busy at the minute already now.
That certainly sounds like a busy year ahead of you, Darren.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is it, 7 rallies now in the next 6 weeks, so we'll definitely be kept going anyways.
So that was very interesting there from Darren. He's going to be a very busy man this year. So again, we got it badly wrong in Galway, but we'll have to try and do some predictions again. So I think we'll start with the Killarney Forestry. Conor, your thoughts? Who's going to be the winner? And we'll go even for the 2-wheel drive winner in this, because we know the names that's there too, So.
Oh, Kevin, this has to be the worst part of the night. I've got to go for Desi Henry. Desi, quick man in the forests, in the R5 Fiesta. I think it's going to be between him and Cathal McCourt, but I think Desi might just have the edge with just the mileage he has under his belt. Then looking at the rear wheel drives, I don't know, somewhere, I don't know, closing my eyes and throw a dart, somewhere between John Gordon, David Condell and Mickey Conlon. Could you rule Frank Kelly out? Nah.
I wouldn't rule him out.
Oh dear.
That'd be a very brave man to rule Frank Kelly out. So, Adam, your thoughts?
Oh dear, that's a tough one. I think because Winter beat him, I'll go for Paddy O'Brien. Again, for him to come back after not rallying for quite a while, and I think he was on holidays in America right up before the Bushwhacker Rally, and he just rocked up cool as a cucumber. Won all but 2 stages, I think, on that rally ahead of Cathal McCourt. So no, I think Paddy O'Brien might spring a surprise in Killarney, but definitely the others won't be far behind. And 2-wheel drive, that's just a lottery, like. But I think just because you didn't mention him, Conor, I'm going to go for Shane McGurr.
Oh,
to come out on top.
Yes, cool. Right, so I suppose I have to do it too. Overall, I'm going to go Cathal McCourt. As far as I know, he's out in a Fiesta, kind of, you could call it a World Rally car. It's a Focus engine in it.
You kept that quiet. That's your secret weapon. See?
You don't all your cards at once. So yeah, there's a lot of rumors, whispers, or whatever you want to call it, going around that there's a McKenna car coming out of the States. It's the Fiesta with the Focus engine in it. The 2011-12, that kind of spec car. but it's got the Focus WRC engine in it. Like if the stages are fast, it may suit that. Like Desi Henry in a Rally 2 Fiesta, again, Desi hasn't been in the woods maybe for a wee while, but it always go fast there. Patrick O'Brien, like huge talent, and we've seen in the Bushwhacker, not scared for the flat out stuff. Like that in car from Loughradden, like would put the hairs up in the back of your neck. But I just think McCourt may have the car just to take it a wee bit further. Two-wheel drive, Frank Kelly, the man's been there, done that with his Millington and all too. McGurr as well, and Halrington, like lunatic as well. It's just fantastic. Every event that you see them names down the entry list, you want to stand and wait in car 26, 27 and 28 or whatever it is coming along. But I'll probably put the Vex on Frank, but I'll go with Frank for the two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So, and then we have to Kirkeston. Overall, who are we looking at for the overall one, Kirkeston? We will go with Adam. What's your thoughts on
I think the sensible bet there is Johnny Greer. He's the Northern Irish champion from last year, and I think he'll be burning off a bit of anger from missing Galway as well earlier on this month. So yeah, I'll go for Johnny Greer.
Okay. And Conor, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it'd be kind of the same. It'd be somewhere between Johnny Greer and young Stephen Wright. But again, can you rule out Darren Gass? He was second last time he appeared in Kirkeston. So, could pull something. I know it's been a while, and I'm sure he's rusty, but he's a damn quick man when he gets behind the wheel. So, I don't know. If I had to put the money down, Johnny Greer.
Yeah, I think full house and Johnny Greer, so he's probably not going to win, but no, like Johnny was sensational last year in the Northern Ireland Championship. Himself and Desi Henry were streets ahead of everybody else. Interesting now just to see what the difference is from the R5 to the Rally 2 and will there be teething issues with it, or I'm guessing they'll have a bit of testing done in the car beforehand. But yeah, I think it's fascinating to see all these new cars coming out. So go with Greer as well on that one. So right, if anybody else wants to offer their opinion who they think is going to win, we're more than welcome to hear your opinions. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.